Hello and welcome to Seattle City Makers. I'm your host, Jon Scholes. Welcome to our latest episode, where I'm joined by Sera Cahoone, a singer, songwriter, drummer, and producer. Sera is originally from Colorado, where she played her first live show at the age of 12 at a bar in Denver. She played drums, backing up a couple of bluesmen she didn't know, but she got to that bar and that stage via her parents. And she came to Seattle in 1998, not for our city's music scene necessarily, but for a gig at a snowboard shop that she'd been working at in Colorado, and they were opening a new store in the Seattle area. Soon after arriving, she ended up hitting Seattle's open mic scene and eventually connecting with the band Chris is Weird and Band of Horses. And she played drums on Band of Horses' first highly acclaimed record, Everything All the Time, before producing and releasing her own album in 2006. Her voice has been described as a voice that sounds like Patti Smith, adopting the vulnerability of Neil Young. She's put out 4 albums since her first record in 2006 and is working on her 6th album due out next year. She just recently passed through downtown Seattle playing a show with her full band over at Madame Lou's at the Crocodile in Belltown. And Sera and I talk about how her anxiety as a kid led her to music, her journey as an artist, her favorite Seattle venues, her brief gig at Hobby Lobby, and her perfect Saturday in Seattle. And you'll forgive me, I'm a bit of a fanboy of Sera, and it comes through on this episode. I've listened to her music since her first record came out, and have enjoyed every one since, and got to her show over at Madame Lou's, which was just terrific. I've seen her live many times, and if you don't know her music, well, I hope you will dig in after listening to this podcast, and I hope you enjoy this episode with Sera Cahoone, singer, songwriter, drummer, and producer. Thank you for making time for this. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I've listened to your music and seen you perform many times and over the years, and it was delightful to run into you at the what was it, the Last Frontier Saloon? Is that what it's called in Fall City?
Oh yeah, I couldn't remember the name of it,
Something
but
like that.
It's somewhere I've always wanted to go, and we just happened to stop there, and there you were.
And you did a U-turn, and we did a U-turn too after the event you played at the farm in Carnation. Was it Carnation? Yeah,
it was so cool. Yeah.
And so serendipity. That was fun to run into you there and enjoy some fried food and brown liquor.
Yes. Yeah.
So I
didn't feel so good the next day.
I wanted to learn more about your journey from Colorado to Seattle, and I think chronologically. So I like to kind of start
sure
at the beginning, sort of how you came here. And I know it wasn't because of music; it was because of snowboarding, right? You came
I was a manager at a snowboard shop in
Which one?
It's called BC Surf and Sport out in Littleton, Colorado.
Uh-huh.
And they were. I think I just turned 21, and they were like, "Do you want to come out to Seattle and open a shop?" But it was in Linwood, which was kind of a bummer. But I mean, I love you, Linwood. But
this is Seattle City
so
Makers.
I moved
like
a month later because I was just like, I just was so ready. I almost moved to New York,
and you knew nobody here.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody, and I got a house or an apartment on Capitol Hill, but I drove to Linwood every day and just kind of was pretty engulfed in that, but I would go out at night and just, meet people. And
were you a big snowboarder yourself?
I was a big snowboarder, but I kind of stopped, even before I moved here, because I just got so hurt. I just kept falling on my head.
Yeah, those head and shoulders,
I just was
and wrists.
I was kind of a little bit over that scene, but I'm such a big part of it, and I loved where I worked, and I just loved Seattle because I came out here in high school with my best friend and her parents, and I was just I loved all the music here. I was obsessed with it. So I just was
yeah. So you were aware of the scene here, but you didn't come out necessarily because of it. You came out.
It was
to open the shop.
Yeah. It definitely played a part.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And going back further, you got into music as a 12-year-old to sort of manage your anxiety, and your mom.
I mean,
is that
I
is that the right way to put it?
I mean, I definitely have some anxiety, but I think I was always really obsessed with drums as a kid, music. And I used to get kicked out of class a lot because I would be banging on stuff. And so I finally convinced my mom.
You were really fidgety?
Yeah, I was really fidgety. And I just convinced my mom. I was like, hey, if you buy me a drum set, I won't do that anymore. And I can't say it worked, but it was just immediate. I knew how to play. I think it was Tone Loc, Wild Thing. So it was just a very natural instrument.
Did you take it up pretty
Yeah,
quickly?
it just was like really just, it's like my instrument for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was obsessed. I just played all the time and, took some lessons, but also just, it's all I cared about.
Was it in your room, a garage?
It was downstairs.
Because you had some siblings, right?
Yeah.
That had to like suffer through you learning to play the drums.
I know. It's
Downstairs.
like the worst. Yeah, actually my first band was called Abattoir, like it was like a heavy metal band.
Uh-huh.
So I just think back to that. I'm like, what a mom. And brother and sister, that let me be annoying.
And how old were you when you played your first performance? I know, is it a bar in...
I was like 12, yeah.
Really?
I went to like kind of an open mic and like my family was like, get up there.
Like a coffee shop or like a bar?
It was kind of a bar.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, and
Colorado.
so I got up and played and I was just like, oh my God. And so my mom and I used to go out to, there was a place called Ziggy's in downtown Denver and like she took me a couple times. It's like a blues bar down there.
Yeah.
And so as a kid, I would go out and I would go play, these open mics with all these dudes mainly.
Like people you didn't know?
No, I would just get up and play blues with them. And it was really exciting. Even as a 12-year-old.
You were 12?
Yeah, it was like 12, 13,
Were you too young to be like terrified of performing live or were you terrified?
No, I was like pretty scared, but I was so just like, I knew that I wanted to be a drummer. Like it was just so natural and like I felt really confident in it that, I don't know, it was like exciting. I mean, I was scared, of course, but it just felt like in my blood, I guess.
Yeah. When did you feel like you were good?
Pretty quickly, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I had a real, like, I played in like band, and I wasn't very good at that because I don't read music. Like that's really challenging for me. But if I hear it or watch someone play, I can play it. So that was kind of a challenge for me, but I knew I was like really good at it. So I felt pretty, I'm confident in my drumming, like not like overly confident, but right away, I think, it's
and what happened after that first gig? You probably didn't call it a gig. First open mic.
I kind of just, I think I started to get into high school and then I started, playing some open, just jams with people. I think I made a band, like, I can't remember if I was like in 10th grade or something, where we played a Pearl Jam song actually to the school. And it was just like...
Like at the assembly?
Yeah, it was just like, holy smokes, it was the coolest thing. And I think we did like a Nirvana song or something.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I was like the girl that played drums, in high school. So...
And you dabbled in guitar a little bit. Your brother had a guitar. You've got siblings that are musically inclined as well, right?
Guitar was just always like sitting around and I started to play that more towards like, maybe like when I was like a senior, junior in high school. I just started to kind of mess around. Actually, I was probably like a junior. And I didn't really play around anyone because I taught myself. I would just be in my room and kind of learning weird chords. And I started to sing, especially when no one was home. I was because I was extremely shy, and just the thought of anyone hearing anything I was saying was terrifying. But I started to write songs in high school, and that was it for my own, to me, for my own. I was never going to share those, but I just learned really basic chords and started to really form a song. And I remember, I think my dad was out of town, so I was having a party, with like a high school party, and, everyone was kind of drunk. And my best friend was like, do you want to come up to go play me the song? I want to hear it. So I went upstairs and we were both tipsy and just like, I played her my song and she was just like, oh my God. And her mom like owned this coffee shop in town. And so that was like my first show as like that was really scary to play guitar and sing in front of people because it's just, when you're in the drums, you're just in the back and you're just hanging out.
They can't see you. You're behind other people and your instrument.
So that was just terrifying and just a new world of something that I didn't feel that comfortable in. And that's what made me keep doing it, I think, because it was scary.
And were your parents musically inclined themselves?
My mom like had a guitar laying around. My dad, no. But my mom played music all the time, and it was always just on. So it was always, but no.
And I read your mom was a business executive, and your dad, I read, a dynamite salesman.
Yeah.
And when I first read that, I was like, oh, he's like a really good salesman. Was he a really good salesman, or did he actually sell dynamite?
He actually sold dynamite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. And,
How does that work?
Well, it was like basically, he would blow up a lot of the mountain, or, his company would blow up a lot of the mountains of like Billings and Butte and Nevada. And so a lot of times we would actually have, not a lot of times, I think this only happened a couple times, but I remember seeing dynamite in my house. And as children, it's not the safest stuff, but
probably had some in his car too, didn't he?
Oh, I don't know. He was crazy, so probably. But we would always go to these like conventions, as a kid, and like
dynamite conventions.
Wow. Yeah, but I was just a kid. I'd been running around getting crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I know. I seriously read that. I was like, oh, he's like, I wonder what he sold. Yeah. He's really good at it.
He was really good.
Sold dynamite. A dynamite salesman.
Dynamite. Yeah.
Yeah. So you came out here in '98. Yep. Didn't know anybody. Come out to run a snowboard shop. Mm-hmm. And when did you decide that you wanted to sort of plug into? Because you started to do open mics here.
Yeah.
And get connected to the music scene here. Was it sort of like casually, or were you like, no, I want to continue my career and start a career here?
Yeah, I was pretty like determined to. I didn't bring my drums when I moved here. I brought my guitar. I was just starting to kind of do open mics in Denver. And I was just like, I'm going to go there and get really uncomfortable. Obviously, moving to a new place. I'm going to go do these open mics with people I don't know. That was really scary. And I would go to like the OK Hotel. Mm-hmm. That was a big one. And Hot Vine. Those were the two that I would mainly do.
15th.
Yeah. So that was just like, I met people there, but it was terrifying all in the same time.
Yeah.
And I think I just started to get more comfortable playing. And I think I might have placed an ad in like The Stranger. It was probably called something else. We had something else, but I can't.
Maybe the Seattle Weekly?
Yeah, so it's an old one. But I met some friends from that, like wanting to start a band. And then I just slowly started meeting, people in the community and building a reputation and starting to like actually play songs in front of people and get comfortable in that. Here I am.
And you had a little stop at the coffee shop across from REI. Was it the one across from REI?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep. Vivace. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. And you got connected to the folks with Chris is Weird that then turned into the opportunity with Band of Horses.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Yep. I was in a band with them. I was kind of one of their last drummers because they had a lot of drummers. And I was pretty obsessed with them.
And you played on their first?
No, I played on their last record. The Band of Horses?
Band of Horses, you played on their first, but on Chris is Weird last, right?
I didn't play all the drums on that, but I played on it. It's just funny how the world is, how just little things happen and then you're playing more and more.
And then you had written some music and you made a decision to put out an album that you self-produced, self-released. Yeah,
I was slowly just writing songs that I was feeling really good about. I was like listening to a lot of country, old school country. I was just really inspired. I had been touring some drums with like Chris is Weird and my friend Patrick Park. But I was still writing, on my own. Mm-hmm. And I was feeling really comfortable with it. I just was really excited to record my first record. And I was just determined to record it, pay for it, play the drums, like do everything. And I don't care what's going to happen with it.
See what happens.
This is just what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. Not really expecting much. I mean, I knew it was going to be good and all of that. But, and then I just slowly kept meeting people. Like I met Megan Jasper from Sub Pop. I ended up playing a birthday party before I even recorded that record. And we just hit it off, and she just kind of was in my life. And I think Sub Pop picked up my first record as a distribution.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I slowly built a relationship with them.
Before they signed you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I sent my first demo to Jon in the Morning. I think he was doing the local show as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent it for that because I was just like, oh, maybe he'll play it for that.
Like in the mail.
Yeah, but then he played it on his morning show before my record was even like ready.
Yeah.
I think I had the artwork yet. And so it was just like,
and you started getting bombarded.
Yeah, it was just like
MySpace.
Amazing. Yeah, it was MySpace.
MySpace.
Yeah, it was just.
And you weren't ready for the
I was
attention?
Just like, wow, okay, this is so exciting. And like, I was very excited, of course, but also slightly terrified because I wasn't quite prepared for it, I think. But and then I basically got signed to Sub Pop and did 2 records for them, and here I am.
And you toured that first album. Was that that was your first time on the road?
Yeah, I was like slowly.
But you had did you have your full band?
Yeah,
yeah.
And I think we opened for Band of Horses on a few of those tours, which was really fun and just crazy times. But I kind of just was my friends were helping me, figure it out. And Marcus Solario, who he managed Band of Horses, and then he managed me at the same time. So he was really great and amazing at helping me navigate some of that time.
What were you thinking before you headed out on that first tour? Thinking and feeling.
I think I just was like, I was really excited, but also just hoping that I had everything together and just making sure I played a good show. And my band was so good. So it's just, I knew that was great. It's just like, getting the van, like figuring out the van. I think we flew in and rented a car or something, but it's just those little things that
you had to
I don't
be responsible
really
for.
Know how to deal with any of that. I'm like, what is this life?
What is the touring life? Is it as romantic from the inside as it seems from the outside?
Honestly, back then I wish that I knew what I know now, because I just feel like I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't really bring like a tour manager or anyone to really help me besides my band.
Yeah.
But they're my band and they want to have fun and like, and I just don't think being a drummer, I don't think I really was like, oh, I'm a singer. I need to like take care of my body and myself. And we all can't stay in one room. And like, I don't sleep all night, So I kind of had a wake up call when I got to like the East Coast. It was like one of my big tours. And I was about ready to play World Cafe. And I had something else. But I was just like, I got really sick and I lost my voice. And so I had to cancel, I think, 1 or 2 shows. And that and
some appearances like
I
World
just
Cafe.
Was really bummed that I
like you weren't
didn't
making
take
the most
care
out
of myself, or just learning those little things. But like I was I think I was the 4th Tiny Desk concert.
Really?
Yeah. And that was...
How'd that get lined up?
Sub Pop and, all Marcus, I'm sure, it's just like, but at the time I didn't know what it was. And that morning I had just got my voice back. So I was just, I had to be there, I think at 11 a.m. or something. And I just did that solo and I was like, I clearly look pretty dang sick and not great, but
you powered through.
And now it's like this huge thing, which is pretty funny. But that was the tour that I was just having not a great time. But so anyways, to get back to touring, it is amazing and has its highs and lows, but it's a lot of work. I mean, you have to get up and drive 7 hours a lot of times and then get to the venue, sit and wait, hopefully get some sleep. But I mean, half the time you don't get that great of sleep because
We asked Marcus when he was on what was his favorite thing about touring and what was the least favorite. And he said being around friends all the time and being around my fucking friends all the time.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's
like the best of it and the worst of it.
Hard. And it's like, I also felt like I wasn't in charge of everything and kind of just, that was really exhausting. But, like it just, I'm like, I need a break from these people. I mean, it's mutual, I know, but there's a lot of great times in there and memories that I'll always have. So I'm just, I don't tour as much as I used to, that's for sure. But
so Kathleen Edwards was influential to you deciding to make a record. Someone who I love, and great Canadian singer-songwriter who got out of music and then has gotten back in, thankfully.
Because it's hard.
It's like, but what was... how was she influential in you deciding, I'm going to make a record and I'm going to do this?
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I had booked the studio. This is for my very first record. Mm-hmm. I don't think that I had booked the to record yet, but I was like getting really close and I was like obsessed with her first record. And just, I don't know, I loved her style. But I went to go see her at Numos, and that was just seeing her live and just how she's just herself, and she doesn't give a, cred about anything, but so extremely talented. And I just loved that like fierceness, and it just really inspired me. I'm like, I'm going to do that. I need to do that.
That was your moment?
Yeah. Yeah. It was really, really cool. And then I recorded my first record, and I was on MySpace one day and she wrote me.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Random. And
because she'd heard your music?
Yeah. And she was like, I love your...
Full circle.
I was just like, oh my God. Okay. Can I send you my CD? Like it was crazy. That was crazy for sure. So, yeah.
And I hear she has closed the coffee shop she opened when she...
Quitters. It was called
Quitters Cafe or Quitters Coffee or something.
Quitters Coffee.
Yeah. She quit Quitters.
No, she has a new, like she's going to, she's so good.
She has another record coming out?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. What was Voyager was her last one, I think?
Yeah, she's
I love her music.
So great.
Who else has been influential to you musically and just in your decisions around your career and performance and writing?
I listened to a lot of like 70s, a lot of like soft rock, a lot of old school country. So that in itself is very inspiring to me. I loved Tracy Chapman. She was like she's my all-time favorite. And I was obsessed with her. So she's the one I credit the most, I think.
Are you pro or con Luke Combs' cover of Fast Car?
I really struggled with that when I first heard it. I think I might have like thrown something, like just a piece of paper or something. But when
was it grown on you?
Yeah, when I saw them on the Grammys together, that was so sweet.
So it's like if she's okay with it, you're okay with it.
And he was he's great. I mean, just like his whole demeanor and the way that he was with her, I loved that. So he won me over.
Yeah.
With that.
So I interrupted you. Tracy.
Oh.
70s. Influential.
Oh, yeah. It just, I don't know. There's so many to name because I listen to so much different music. Like I love
Country's been pretty important to you though. Is that that your kind of...
It's like my especially old school country. I don't listen to a lot of new country. Yeah. I find like it's something I need that calms me and just instantly makes me happy. Mm-hmm. But I listened to also there's a band called Prince George. They're Prince with a Z. Mm-hmm. I love them. They're kind of like electronic.
I don't think I know them. I gotta look them up.
They're so great. But they're like electronic, a beat.
Yeah, it's a genre I'm
I like hip hop.
Super
I like
deep into
everything.
Yeah.
So it's like I like heavy metals a lot of times, stuff like that. So yeah.
There we go. Yeah, James is pulling up.
Yeah, they're so great. She has the coolest voice. She has like a Stevie Nicks voice or something.
Oh, I love that. What are some of your favorite shows you've played in Seattle? What's the room you like the best?
The Tractor. Yeah. The Tractor's my all-time favorite and kind of where I started. And I think the Tractor and Numos are my favorite, but because those have the biggest memories for me, I think. But
do you have a favorite show you've played at the Tractor? There's been a few.
I have so many. There's a lot. There was one show that was hilarious where people were just insane. They were just wild,
Mm-hmm.
And like, and I think we went for an encore, and it was maybe a joke, but people were throwing their underwear on stage. And I went back for the encore to go up, and
this doesn't seem like something that would happen at
I know it was pretty
Sera
great.
Cahoone show, but
So I might have said throw your underwear on. I don't know.
well, yeah, maybe you had something to do with it.
But basically, I came out and there was a pair of Denver Bronco underwear when I love the Denver Broncos. So I know my friends put that on there. So that was just that. There's just
you don't
so
think
many.
somebody was just randomly wearing?
I mean, maybe
Denver Bronco underwear.
It was kind of weird that it was on the mic, like that
Yeah.
felt a little gross,
a little
but
arranged.
it's fine.
Yeah.
But like I also played a show there. It was like one winter that it snowed like a lot. Like I was like, oh, no one's gonna come to this show. Like this sucks. How am I gonna get home? Honestly, because I live on Capitol Hill. But tons of people came, and it was just there was just this. When it snows here, it's like that energy of like excitement. That was just so cool. But yeah, I love the Tractor. They're all just so. I mean, I love every venue here. So can't really go wrong, but that's kind of where I built my career is the Tractor.
Yeah.
So
you've also gotten into producing. I mean, you produced your own record, but Margot Silker found you and asked you to produce her first record. And that had to be pretty flattering because you didn't know her. You got connected through mutual friends. Is that right?
Yeah. My friend Bart Budwig actually did he's like, hey, my friend Margot wants you to produce a record. And I was like, okay, all right.
And you didn't know her
I didn't know
music or her at the time.
No.
Like,
but I was like, okay, tell me a little bit more. And maybe she could send me a demo or something, or maybe we can get on the phone. And I think maybe she sent me a demo. And I was just like, oh, this is like, I can do something with this. We have like a similar, the way she plays guitar is very rhythmic. She wanted me to play drums too. So I was like thinking about that. But just kind of focusing on if we're going to work. And we got on the phone and I was immediately like, oh yeah. We just like went back and forth, banter. And we were just like, let's figure this out. And so, we got my friend Rebecca Young, who lives in Seattle, to play bass. And so the three of us just kind of like figured out the rhythm and built a relationship. And that was a really fun experience because she hadn't really recorded in that way, like a full length. And it's been so cool to see her just skyrocket. And, I did her second record as well. So it's just been like, it's like, she's just like, I just love her, and it's just been really, that's been almost as rewarding as my own music, just seeing.
Contributing to her success.
And just seeing her success and the way that people respond to it makes me really happy,
Did you play drums on her most recent album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and she had heard your music, and she didn't know you, but she was drawn to your sound and arrangement, and that's why she reached out to you to produce.
She told me she saw a video of me on KXP, like playing their when they opened up their main room, whatever it's called.
Yeah, it'll come to us. I was just in there
it
before the National War on Drugs show because they did a cool little pre-party tailgate thing. Gathering space, right?
Gathering space, yes.
Why was that so hard?
So I played the opening for that, and I was just like, I actually didn't know what to expect. I had to play on the radio and
to
and to a crowd and to like YouTube, I guess. And so there's a YouTube channels of me, and I was like terrified. I think I was like playing like a new song and just like, okay, and an electric guitar for some weird reason. But yeah, she loved it. That video in particular, probably because I just was like, I don't know.
Do you still get nervous performing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I just get like, I don't get as crazy, but sometimes I definitely get nervous. But I think overall I've learned how to tame it, But it is. I mean, I have anxiety in a sense of like, what's going to happen or is people going to like me, whatever. But for the most part, I feel much more confident. But I don't think that's ever going to go away. I still am like, whoa, okay, I gotta go. Here we go.
I was with Todd Lightwick with the Seattle Kraken day before yesterday, moderating an event where he was going to speak, and he was telling me a story when he worked for the PGA and the commissioner of the PGA, and he was about to give a speech, and the commissioner of the PGA asked him if he was nervous. He's like, "No, I'm not nervous." And the commissioner said, "Well, get ready to give a shitty speech," meaning you should always be nervous before you any kind of performance.
Yeah,
So that was,
I mean, it's just, I don't understand how people can't be have some sort of, I mean, I guess it's also adrenaline that you get.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of adrenaline for sure. But that's also, you add that to the mix of like.
Would you say you love performing live?
I do. Yeah. I do. Sometimes I don't, just all that goes around it sometimes is overwhelming. But I love performing, and that's like why I do it. I love playing in front of people. I love seeing people's reaction. Like, it's just, there's nothing like it. Yeah.
How bad did you miss it during the pandemic? How did you?
Oh, I missed it a lot. Yeah, it was hard.
Did you have ways of sort of coping and getting through that and making music for others in ways that you could? Or did you just sort of hunker down and say like, oh, well, just going to wait till this thing ends and come out the other side?
I think I played some like outdoor friend things. And
did you try the virtual?
I did do that a couple times, and that was actually fun.
Was it?
Yeah.
Where you can't see anybody's eyeballs.
Weird.
And
it's
it is
totally weird.
Yeah. I hate giving like virtual speeches. You're just like staring at a laptop. You think some people are watching. And
I'm like, you can't play and also read the comments because it's just.
Or you get no reaction.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Like, I think I got a Black Fret or Sonic Guild now. What's it called? Grant during the pandemic. So they were like, okay, we'd love for you to play at Nectar. It's going to be recorded, and then people can watch it at home. And so it was just so strange to it was really exciting to be playing at a venue, but it was just so weird. Like, no one was in there.
An empty venue.
And then it was like, did
it feel like a sound check?
Yeah, then we get done, and then I know people are saying things over here, but I can't read it or know what's going on. So it was definitely.
Those were awful times.
Yeah, what a weird time. But it is.
Do you remember your first show on the other side of all of that?
Yeah, I played 2 shows in a row at the Triple Door, and it was so cool. Yeah. It was just like, it was right when we got the first vaccine, and everyone was just like, we're free,
Yeah.
And it was really sweet. A couple nights.
Yeah. My first show as a fan was actually coming out of all that was Band of Horses over at the Paramount.
Oh, wow.
It was like December of, I don't know, what it had been 21 or maybe 21.
Strange times.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we never have to do it again.
I hope so.
And you have a show coming up at the Croc.
The Croc, Madame Lou's.
Madame Lou's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played there before?
No, and I haven't played the new one. So I'm really excited. And it's an early show. So it's like
7?
I think doors are at 5:30.
What?
And Carrie Beal, who opens, she's playing at 6:30.
Yeah.
And I think,
it's very civilized.
And then people could
we'll be in bed by 9.
Yeah, you go to bed. I can be in bed. Yes. Yeah, I do. I think it will be fun. And then people can go to their parties or whatever. Like, hopefully they come out and hang out.
Yeah. And you're going to have the full band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How'd that show come to be? Because you're not on tour.
I always like to play in December kind of, or November, just like a fun show. So, I think the Tractor was booked, so I was just usually I'd play there with my band, but
well, we're glad to have you downtown.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like to play a hometown show. Just that, because it's just fun.
Friday, December 13th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. No holiday tunes, right?
No.
You don't have a holiday album.
I don't. I should, I guess.
Do you listen to holiday Christmas music?
Maybe only on Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes.
I can't stand it.
I like a lot of, there's Loretta Lynn and Hank
George
Williams.
Strait's got a good,
just sometimes that will help me. But no, it gets really, I don't know. I'm not doing a Christmas show like that. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's plenty of that.
There's plenty of that.
If you want
you could go to that after my show because it gets done so early.
You could do both things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for just playing your music. Are you writing now?
Yeah, I'm almost finished with my record. So it's been 8,000 years, but it's I haven't obviously recorded it yet, but the writing of it is finally coming together.
How do you approach that? Are you someone who like you're sitting down to put words to paper and like you have a session and a schedule?
No.
Or is it you have?
I wish.
Well, maybe that's probably not the right way to do it. I don't know. But or are you sort of living your life and capturing ideas and experiences and thoughts, and then in the moment sort of trying to?
I'm kind of I'm just kind of a strange songwriter. I will come up with songs. Like I have a lot of lyrics are always last and they take me forever. I usually write like a melody and write the song, and I know, like I'm kind of immediately like I hear what the drums are probably going to do, and then I'll sing and hum a lot of things, and a lot of words will start to come out, and then
you're putting words to
that's
you're putting words
mumbling.
to melody.
Yeah, exactly. So it takes like I wish I was someone that would just sit down and write a song, in that sense. I just have never really done that.
When you listen to music, is it the melody or the lyrics that like grab you and pull you into the song?
It depends on the song, but I think it's the melody and the song that get me, and the voice too. Yeah. That get me first.
I'm the same way. I can listen to a song 1,000 times, and then like the 1,001 time, I'm like, oh, that's what they're singing about.
Yeah, me too.
Which feels like kind of disrespectful to the songwriter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just like you can kind of get the mood and the intent and
so
without
that's me
being literal to the lyrics.
I agree.
So that's your approach to writing and as a consumer.
And then just writing like lyrics are just half the time I'm like, I don't want to be a musician. Like I don't want to be a singer-songwriter.
Like you don't want to put yourself out there.
It's like it's just hard.
Yeah.
I don't think it comes as natural, and it takes a lot of time, and half the time I get so distracted that I'm just like, okay, I worked on that for a bit. I'm gonna go do this, and then I'll come back to that. Like I'm just all over the freaking place.
And you don't want to force it. You want it to be real.
And I think it's just getting older. It just takes longer, and living life and trying to figure out like, do I want to put another record out? Because it's just so much work. And but I do, and I do have another record.
And you're close.
I hope people.
What's your timeline?
I would love it to be out next year if I could, get it together.
Yeah.
So. Did
you feel like extra pressure after your first album was out in writing a second? That seems like the sophomore album of like, oh my God, am I going to be able to do this again? Is there enough there?
I definitely felt like I had I was in a band that actually is like I'm playing with at the show, like same band, it's a different drummer, but like I was practicing a lot with my band, and kind of that record was more of a band record, my second record. So I think I felt it was stressful, but I felt a little more like confident in it, that it's going to be better, like because it's the first one I did very quickly, and it sounds great, but half the time I'm like, I didn't use like a click track or anything like that. Like it could have done a lot better.
And you didn't produce your second?
Just like co-produced pretty much. Yeah. So it's just like, I feel like it's just takes a lot of work and also living life. And so.
What are you doing when you're not writing music?
I work at a coffee shop a couple days a week. My good friends own.
Yeah. Which one's that?
It's called Squirrel Chops.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah. Up in the Central District.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been working with my friend Dean Johnson, who I'm helping him with his next record coming out. So I'm doing a lot of stuff with him, playing drums. And, mainly on my time off, I'm doing music or hanging with friends, and I don't know, living life to the fullest.
You're not playing with Margot Silker on her tour at all. You've played when she's come through Seattle.
I think I'll play whenever she asks me and I can do it. I always do it because I just have so much fun. So, but I don't like to do the whole I don't think I have that in me.
You don't have it in.
Unless it's like my music, I think, or I don't know. I could do it, but it's just, we'll see. I don't know.
Do you sometimes forget where you are?
Yeah, I have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What's your best like tour story?
My best.
Like,
well, I did play the Ryman, so that was huge. I was actually opening for Band of Horses. They did a like the stripped down tour they did. So I opened for them duo. And like that was just in Nashville, it's Grand Ole Opry basically.
Yeah.
That was like a dream.
You have goosebumps.
Yeah. But I played Red Rocks like a year and a half ago, and that's my dream show ever. I was just like, if I could play Red Rocks in my life,
you've made it.
Like I'm good. Yeah. And I think I was talking to the Head and the Heart. I just was just like, oh my God, I just would love to play there someday. You know, I just think I was loosely talking about it. And then they asked me to open for them. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. They made my dreams come true. Thank you, awesome. Head and the Heart.
Great Seattle band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you've opened for some terrific and toured with some terrific folks. Lucinda Williams, Sunbolt. It's like my catalog of go-tos. Who's been most fun to tour with, play with, open with? You pick.
Wow. Everyone is so great. I opened for Kathleen Edwards too. That was a big deal for me. Loved her. She's hilarious. The Sunbolt guys were so nice. Everyone's just so nice for the most part. And I've never had any terrible experiences unless I forget a lot of stuff. But I opened for I did a run with Tiff Merritt. I don't know if you know who she is.
Oh, yeah.
She's just so great.
Saw her at the Tractor many times.
And Gregory Alan Isaacoff too. Yeah. He's just, I love him.
Oh, he's
and his band. Those shows were just, I think I did duo opening for him as well. And it was just, his crowd was just so great.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah.
There's a lot of overlap in your sound and his sound. A lot of
great places. I've had some really weird shows that weren't great in my life, but you know.
What's the weirdest?
The weirdest?
Yeah.
I think the weirdest was I was doing a solo tour with my friend Patrick Park and Seawolf.
I had forgotten about Patrick Park until I was reading a little bit of your background because I used to listen to him all the time.
Awesome.
You all went to high school together, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just listening to him earlier today because I was like, oh God, I haven't listened to him forever.
Cool. Yeah, I just played a show with him in Denver as well.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Sweetheart. But yeah, we were all playing solo, and I think it was in maybe like Denton, Texas or something. And it was like such a funny tour because I was in the middle slot, and Patrick was playing first, and then Seawolf was headlining. And you know, they're both like very good looking guys, and so the crowd was just like a lot of girls that were just like, you know. And then it was like, then I would play, and they were kind of like, okay, what, you know. It just felt like it was kind of like a little bit of a lull. But in Denton, Texas, I remember there was the stage. And then there were stairs that went down a little bit where people were sitting on the stage or sitting on the stairs. And I swear when I was playing, I feel like everyone was faced the opposite direction.
Like, how do you sit on the stairs and face the performer? And people
were like on their phone and like, I am just like, what is happening? And there was another one. It was like, I think.
And you just have to like power through.
Yeah. And you have to just try to just not get mad because it's like people aren't there to see you, you know, and that just it's hard though because you're just like, don't be rude.
Yeah.
But I had there was another show, I think it was like in, I don't know, Nebraska or something. I don't know. I think it was opening for Sunbolt, which is a very rowdy crowd. And I think I was playing as a duo. And it was just, people were just so insane and they were just loud. And there were like 5 guys in front of us just like on their phones, just talking so loud. Like, it was like almost like people were just like taking their shirts off and just like no one was paying attention.
Yeah.
Like Jay and I could have been up there just like,
why don't you just go to a bar?
You're
like,
so
why
rude.
Are you,
Like, can you just like, I am.
We need like a Bill of Rights for like shows.
Like, especially when you're in the front row. I mean,
there's a lot of bad behavior out there.
I just have to be like, I know there's like one person over here watching me.
Yeah.
You know, so you just, that gets hard on tour. But then, you know, you will have the great show next night
somewhere
and people are paying attention. And,
yeah.
But there's a lot of ups and downs in music. It's just, it can tear you apart if you let it, for sure.
I was at John Moreland's show a month or so ago at Numos.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine got shushed pretty good. And he wasn't actually on his phone or being that loud. I mean, I think he said he turned over and said one thing, but he got hard shushed. And there was this t-shirt, John Moreland t-shirt that was for sale that said something like, I got in a fight for being shushed at the John Moreland show or something.
Oh, wow.
So he didn't see it, but I walked over and bought it for him and then handed it to him. And it was perfect. But I think we actually need more shushers in Seattle.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, we're pretty rowdy sometimes.
Yeah, just kind of rude.
Yeah.
Don't go listen to music if you want to just go and drink and talk. There's plenty of places to do that.
Or go to the bar part or something. I don't know. It's I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sera, we have a couple of standard questions on our podcast. One is, what was your first job that you took a paycheck for?
My first job was, I worked at, I think I was 15. I worked at a jet ski rental place. Because my mom was super into jet skiing. So she had a jet ski. So
I've never heard somebody
my mom is
that sentence.
I know, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
My mom was
on the podcast or at any time in my life.
Yeah, my mom was talk to the woman there.
Were
and got
they
me a
the
job.
stand-up jet
Yeah.
ski? Oh, yeah, old school.
So I was I could do that. So I showed up and I'm shy kid. And I did okay, but basically got fired that same day after I got done. Because she said it's because I couldn't lift the jet ski out of the water or something.
Right.
But it was because I wasn't just just a little, I think they wanted a bubbly girl to be
a dynamite salesman.
Exactly.
Salesperson.
And so I just was I did get paid for that though.
Did you get to go on a ride, take one out at least?
Not that day. I think
you had to come back and pay the full rental rate.
Yeah. I was Mom,
this didn't work.
Yeah. I was I got fired already. So that wasn't meant to be.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my first job.
Yeah. I used to love jet skis as a kid.
So fun.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, they're fun for 5 minutes though. And then you're just okay, now what? It's the anticipation of it.
Yeah.
That is so.
For sure.
Yeah.
But at 15, you're this is the coolest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you do since that?
Well,
that wasn't a significant paycheck, I imagine, for those.
My next job, I worked at Hobby Lobby, which is embarrassing to even say.
Lobby.
Because that was worse. And it was I got it during Christmas. So it's I just had never had a job where, there was people, you had to check people out.
Yeah.
So it's everybody they had these little things and you had to figure out which one, how much was, it just took forever. And I just was and you had all these people getting mad at you. And I was just, this place is terrible.
Yeah.
And all I ever wanted to do was work at the skate shop. And I would go in there all the time.
Game shop, you said?
The skate shop.
Oh, skate shop. Yeah,
shop.
Skateboard. Yeah. That was your entry to snowboarding.
I finally got out of that and they hired me and that was my job for 10 years. So that's the shop that I worked at forever and loved. So I got lucky. No more Hobby Lobby.
I think I would have dug Hobby Lobby because I was into RC cars and model airplanes and stuff. Discounts on those. That's what they sell, right? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just
right.
Yeah, yeah. It's hobby shop. So it's you got everything. Little baskets.
I ate Wendy's by myself in an empty Hobby Lobby parking lot a couple weeks ago in Wenatchee, in Wenatchee, Washington, as my daughter was warming up for her soccer game down the street.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because I won't eat in my vehicle. And so I got out.
Oh, okay.
And
you hung out at Hobby Lobby with
Wendy's? It wasn't open. It was just in front of the Hobby Lobby.
Wow.
And it was an empty parking lot.
Yeah.
It was really nice out there.
You had some alone time.
Yeah.
In Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. And then there was somebody parked a little ways away, and I felt a little bit of shame that
sometimes
I was hungry.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Our last question is, what's your perfect Saturday in Seattle?
Perfect Saturday.
Yeah.
I usually go on a walk, I'll either go to the Arboretum or Seward Park.
Mm-hmm.
And those are kind of my zen places, like walk it out. Then I'll get home. Maybe, my friends and I were like, we're going to go up to Bo Edison, up there and maybe drink some wine, just like hang out.
What's the great bar up there? It's the pool table and
yeah, that's that place is
awesome.
I can't remember what that's called.
It's got the last saloon vibes.
I can't remember anything like that. But, I usually go drink wine more and like, bread and like cheese and
different bar.
But that's just fun. I like to get out of town when I can.
That's a pretty area.
But that's kind of my perfect Saturday, just to go
connect in with
great
places.
Yeah.
Last question, which isn't a standard question, but we're gonna ask you because I think you're our first musician we've had on the podcast. Is that right, James? I mean, I'm sure other people play music, but not professionally.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm honored.
Marcus, Steve Severin.
Yeah, we had Steve Severin, Numos, and
nice.
Marcus.
I love him.
Yeah. But not an actual musician. So, who are you listening to nowadays that are like maybe new on the scene, or whether they're Seattle musicians or not? I mean, like, who's got your ear?
The thing about me is like there's so many good bands in Seattle. I can't keep track. Like, I learn a lot. Like, Sonic Guild, they're an amazing organization. They're giving out grants now. So it's like you just see there's like these bands coming out that I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that they were a band. And so I can't really keep track of a lot of people in town.
And this year's been a lot of good music out this year.
It's just like so for me, it's like, I feel like I need to listen to more new music because I don't always listen to a lot of new music.
Yeah.
Because when I do walk, I usually listen to a book or podcast or something. So I don't always listen to music that like it's not always on. And if it is, it's usually just old school country or 70s something.
They're kind of on in the background.
Yeah, it just is like, so I should listen to more new music, but there's so much good music. Like I can't even keep track half the time.
Yeah.
It blows my mind half the time. I'm like, I'll be on Instagram. I'm like, who's it?
Yeah.
This person is amazing. Like, it's just, it can't keep up, which is exciting because it's just so many talented people.
There's a lot out there. At the end of every year, I make my top 10 albums of the year list. It'll be tough this year to find 10.
Yeah. I do love Dean Johnson, who I am playing with, but his last record is, he released it, I think by the time he was 50. That was his first record.
Really?
And he's local and he's amazing.
Check him out.
Yeah, he's gorgeous.
What was he doing before?
He worked at, what's that bar on 45th? That's,
Blue Moon?
No. Why can't I think of what it's called? I think it's on 45th, but it's like, you know what I'm talking about.
It'll come to you.
Owls.
Oh.
It's called Owls.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
He was a bartender, but he would play, like he opened for me a few different times, like throughout the years, but he finally released a record and it's like blowing up and
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
At 50.
Yeah, at 50.
There's still hope for me. I've got a few more years.
Yeah, absolutely.
To birth my music career.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I played the trumpet in 5th grade.
Let me know if you want help.
Yeah. I was second chair.
Wow. I mean,
for like a week.
That's not nothing.
No. Yeah, 4th and 5th grade. Then got out of it.
Nice.
Could play a killer Saints Come Marching In.
That's hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be following in Dean's footsteps, but good for him. I'm going to check him out.
Yeah, you should for sure. He's great.
Well, thank you for making time for this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks to Stacy for coordinating with James.
Thanks, Stacy.
Yeah. To get this done. And I'll see you on the 13th at the Croc.
Yes. That's
for your
very
show.
exciting.
And it'll be a good time.
It will
free
be.
of holiday tunes.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time.
Yeah. Thanks, Sera.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, hope you enjoyed my conversation with Sera. Thanks to Sera for making time to come on Seattle City Makers, and thanks to her manager, Stacy, for helping us make it happen. And do check out and keep an eye on her new record out next year. Looking forward to that one. Well, I want to close out with a recommendation of something you got to check out in downtown Seattle, and want to highlight and make note of Carew Cafe, a new cafe that opened in October just by the Pike Place Market on First Avenue there between Virginia and Stewart. Eater Seattle notes that they serve coffee by day and cocktails by night. It's a South African cafe in the historic and apparently haunted Butterworth building, which was Seattle's first funeral parlor, built in 1903. They're doing live music and food and coffee and cocktails. So it's rocking from morning till evening. EDM music on the weekends, if that's your thing. And a really interesting interior and vibe and menu. Go check it out. Carew Cafe on First Avenue, just down from a couple of my other favorite spots, for the Virginia Inn and Le Pichet on that block. So a great addition to First Avenue. We'll hope you enjoyed this episode, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Seattle City Makers, presented by the Downtown Seattle Association, with support from James Cito and production by Spark Creative.